The Savage Hawkman number 14, written by Rob Liefeld and Frank Thierry, art by Joe Bennett and Jack Jadson. This is the next part of Hawkman Wanted, which has been so confusing because technically the last part of this was Deathstroke, but in terms of the plot, it was Green Arrow. So whatever. Anyway, Hawkman's teaming up with Green Arrow at this point, and they're going to look for Shiera, who is the one who put out the hit on Hawkman. And so they bust into this warehouse where they've managed to track down a whole bunch of Hawk people at some Thanagarians. And they come in and just start knocking heads as Hawkman is just recounting, hey, in case you haven't read last issue or the issue before that, here is what's happening. So they start fighting against these guys, and they recognize that they are entirely outclassed in terms of tech, but Green Arrow just keeps on firing and electrocuting people and basically taking them all down. And at one point they pull out like what seems to be a distress signal sort of thing. Green Arrow shoots it before it can really go out, and Hawkman smashes up a generator that seemingly was powering a Stargate. Like, it just looks like a Stargate. It's a portal of some sort, but it was a Stargate. So at that point they string up one of the people who were guarding this place, and they're like, okay, so our goal right now to figure out is how many Hawk people are here on Earth, because clearly they had a portal open, so it was like a lot could come through, but also where is Shiera? So they string up this guy and basically start interrogating him, and we see that they have him hung up by like just a single thread, and right underneath them are a bunch of Green Arrows, and they're just saying like, oh, we'll drop you on it, we're gonna do it. And he's like, fine, do it. I will not betray my people. I will not tell you where our queen is. And they're like, okay, cool, we're gonna do it then. And he's like, oh, okay, but hold on, like, all right, so there are a bunch of different nests, probably like 4 or 5. We only have enough supplies for like a couple weeks, so I don't know if maybe that can inform you as to how many people we have, but Shiera never stays at any of the nests for like more than a day, so I don't know where she is. And it's like, all right, well, we're going to steal your little distress signal thing and kind of reverse engineer it, and that's probably all we need. Anyway, bye. So they fly off, and the guy's like, wait, you're still dangling me over some arrows. Like, I'm going to die here. And it's just like, all right, well, die with honor. Peace. So they leave. And it turns out that the arrows are just holograms. They aren't real, which seems like you have actual arrows. You could have just used them and then moved them when you were anyway. So they fly off, and Green Arrow sets up Emma and Carter with Oliver Queen, them being different people. And at no point do they ever think, you look a lot like that Green Arrow guy, Oliver. They never even mention it. So regardless, they say like, yeah, okay, we tracked the signal back. They're in New York City. Here's the thing, though. I trust you, Hawkman. I trust that this has all just been some wacky misunderstanding and that you aren't actually this killer. If you, as long as you keep that up, you have the full support of Green Arrow and co. And Carter's like, yeah, cool, thanks, awesome. Also tell Green Arrow he's a pretty cool guy. And Oliver's like, I will. So we go back to Thanagar briefly, and whoever is currently sitting on the throne, they keep it a mystery, but it looks like it's the brother that was supposedly murdered because he's all hooked up in life control stuff. Anyway, they tell him like, hey, turns out that a couple of our guys have died and they're still looking for Hawkman, and it's kind of getting a little bit messy down there. And the guy on the throne is like, all right, well, we're just going to change it from our Royal Army thing to a general bounty hunt. So put it out there that, put a number on Hawkman's head. He's going down. And then we see as they're flying across from Seattle back to New York that somehow Emma gets the news that there's a huge price on his head. So it's just like, okay, well, we need to lay low. I need to get you someplace safe, Emma, because you are definitely not okay hanging out with me anymore. And then remember how I said that the events of Green Arrow were the last issue? Right here, the entire events of the Deathstroke issue happen. So he meets up with Deathstroke, he takes some shots, they fight a little bit, and Deathstroke says, hey, I'm not here to collect the bounty, I just want to know what the heck is up with Nth Metal. And so Hawkman, in the issue itself, starts to explain it, but in here, they get interrupted by a bunch of bad guys who show up and say, ah, yes, we will take their armor, mwahaha. So simultaneously, this issue ends at the exact same place where Deathstroke did, in the exact same spot as well. So gotta deduct some points for that. Honestly, the pacing on this just felt so weird in that, yes, we had that fight scene, but like we didn't learn anything from the interrogation scene. They literally just said like, yeah, we're just going to track your little distress signal thing and use that instead. And then the fact that the entire last 4 pages are just the exact same things that came out of the Deathstroke issue. Like, do you want us to read that issue? Why was it a tie-in? Why was it a tie-in placed before this point? I don't get it. It's so strange to me. Either way, I'm going to give this one like a I'll give it a 5.5. And I only go that low because the art also isn't doing anything for me. Like, writing-wise, yeah, it's not great. It's a mess. The event and this issue, all of it's a mess. But this is particularly egregious in terms of you ended the issue with where a previous tie-in already covered. Like, what was the point of the tie? Why is this an event at all? Nothing in the event. The Green Arrow one is the only one that's been necessary. So 5.5. Do better.